The internet is currently absolutely buzzing, and social media platforms are practically on fire this March 2026 over a highly explosive headline claiming that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent historic state visit to the United Kingdom has directly sentenced over 2,000 Nigerians to an immediate deportation flight. To fully understand the massive panic and the intense controversy surrounding this very bold claim, we have to look closely at the actual events that unfolded during this highly publicized diplomatic trip and separate the social media exaggeration from the very real, very serious policy agreements that were made behind closed doors at the highest levels of government. President Tinubu, accompanied by the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, arrived at London Stansted Airport on Tuesday, March the 17th, for a grand two-day state visit strictly on the invitation of His Majesty King Charles III. This was not just a regular diplomatic stopover. This was a monumental event, marking the very first inward state visit by a Nigerian president to the United Kingdom in exactly 37 years, with the last one being by General Ibrahim Babangida back in 1989. The royal welcome was nothing short of spectacular, featuring a ceremonial review of the Guard of Honor in the Quadrangle at Windsor Castle, a lavish state banquet in St. George's Hall, and highly photographed meetings with the British royal family, including Queen Camilla, Prince William, and Kate Middleton. The Nigerian government heavily promoted this trip as a massive victory for the country's global image, a clear sign that Nigeria is stepping back into its rightful place as a highly respected regional power and a key player in the Commonwealth. However, while the cameras flashed and the royal trumpets sounded in Windsor, a very different, much more consequential conversation was taking place just a few miles away in the political heart of London. A conversation that has completely terrified thousands of Nigerians currently living in the diaspora. On Thursday, March the 19th, President Tinubu traveled to 10 Downing Street to hold a highly critical bilateral meeting with the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. According to the official statements released by both the British government and the Nigerian presidential media team, the two leaders deeply discussed a wide range of incredibly important topics, including transnational crime, counter-terrorism, and a massive trade partnership. The crowning achievement of this meeting, at least from an economic standpoint, was the signing of a landmark £746 million financing agreement between UK Export Finance, the Nigerian Ministry of Finance, and the Nigerian Ports Authority. This massive financial deal, which was witnessed by President Tinubu and the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, is specifically aimed at completely modernizing the Apapa and Tin Can Island ports in Lagos, bringing in British steel to supply over 120,000 tons of materials to local construction companies in a desperate bid to ease terminal congestion and dramatically boost Nigeria's international trade capacity. Yet, buried right underneath the heavy celebration of this multi-million-pound infrastructure deal was a single, terrifying policy agreement that immediately triggered the explosive clickbait headlines we are seeing today. The two leaders officially agreed to firmly improve their bilateral procedures on migration, specifically focusing on the acceleration of returns. In the polite, highly sanitized language of international diplomacy, improving the procedures on returns is the exact official term for making it significantly easier and much faster to deport undocumented immigrants, visa overstayers, and failed asylum seekers back to their home countries. This single diplomatic handshake at 10 Downing Street is the absolute root cause of the current widespread panic among the Nigerian community in the United Kingdom, perfectly explaining why the dramatic headline claiming that 2,000 people have been sentenced to a deportation flight has gained such massive, uncontrollable traction across the internet. As we dive even deeper into the harsh realities of the UK immigration system and exactly how this new presidential agreement will practically affect the daily lives of our brothers and sisters hustling abroad, it is absolutely essential that you stay constantly informed on these high-level political decisions that quietly shape our future. So please take a very quick moment right now to completely smash that like button and actively subscribe to the channel with your notification bell turned on, ensuring that the YouTube algorithm continuously pushes this vital, unfiltered information directly to your screen so you never miss our daily, in-depth breakdowns of the real stories shaping the destiny of Nigerians, both at home and in the diaspora. For the hard-working Nigerian who overstayed a visa because they simply could not afford the sudden price hike, or the mother who lost her legal status when her care home sponsor was unexpectedly stripped of their license by the government, this new agreement between Tinubu and Starmer feels like the ultimate betrayal. They feel that their own president, who travels across the globe in a luxurious private jet to drink tea with kings and queens, has casually traded their safety and their future for a loan to fix a seaport in Lagos. Political analysts have been incredibly quick to point out the painful, glaring irony of this entire situation. The Nigerian government is desperately traveling the world begging for foreign direct investment to fix an economy that is completely bleeding dry, yet the very citizens who represent the brightest human capital of the nation are running away from that same economy, only to be hunted down and shipped back home because their leaders agreed to cooperate with foreign deportation forces. Furthermore, critics argue that simply upgrading the physical infrastructure of the Tenkan Island port with British steel will not magically fix the deeply rooted issues of extreme poverty, systemic corruption, and total lack of basic electricity that force people to embark on the perilous Japa journey in the first place. If the domestic environment remains highly toxic and economically unviable, the cycle of desperate migration and subsequent painful deportation will only continue to accelerate. The brutal truth of the matter is that diplomacy alone will absolutely never fix Nigeria's deeply entrenched problems. While the state visit to Windsor Castle may have provided beautiful historic photographs for the presidential archives and a massive financial loan for the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, the immediate human cost of this diplomatic victory is currently being paid by the terrified diaspora community living in absolute fear of the next knock on their door. The agreement to improve returns is a clear signal that the United Kingdom is fiercely tightening its borders, and the Nigerian government is now fully standing by to help them lock the gates. So while you might not see 2,000 people bundled onto a single flight tomorrow morning, you will undoubtedly see a steady, brutal, and highly efficient increase in the number of Nigerians being quietly removed from British soil in the coming months, entirely as a direct result of the policy handshake that took place this March. This is the heavy, unfiltered reality of international politics, where the lives and dreams of ordinary citizens are frequently used as simple bargaining chips on the grand chessboard of global diplomacy, leaving the most vulnerable people to face the devastating consequences completely alone.